What's up, dudes? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're out here at Gliderport doing a walk around on my buddy Nick's truck finally. Here's Nick right here.
Hey guys.
Dude, you're always on the channel.
Trying to.
Do you know how many vehicles that or off-road vehicles that you've owned total?
I'd say we're probably getting close to 20 or 30 by now at least.
Yeah, I swear, like every month you have a new one. Like you guys probably remember, we did a walk around on his Ranger before. And why'd you get rid of that one?
I now got my Tacoma. It's a 2007, just something a little bigger to put the whole family in.
There you go.
The Ranger was a 3-seater, which was nice, but with 2 kids, you know, somebody was always left out. So with this one, I got 5 seats now, so everybody can have some fun.
Yeah, so a bunch of room for the family to hop in. And do you have any plans? Because I know you wanted to keep the Ranger to do like a race truck and eventually race. Do you have plans to do that in the future?
No, I mean, right now, you know, with this is plenty for what I'm gonna need. So yeah, I have no intentions right now to start racing. You know, budget wise, it's really out of control what it costs to you know, have a race program. So I'm gonna hold off on everything like that for now and just enjoy the cruising and the desert trips.
Yep, that's how I am too. I like just going out and exploring and checking stuff out. So do you want to start at the front of the vehicle, rear of the vehicle? How do you want to walk through it?
Yeah, we can start on the front and kind of work our way around.
Cool.
So it's got the Dirt King 3.5 long travel kit. So it's a boxed upper and lower arm. It's got the Camberg fabricated 4-inch spindles on it. TRD big brake kit. The shocks are all King 2.5 coilovers, 2.5 bypass, and then 2.0 bump stops kind of squeezed in there in between the two.
Oh, you can barely see it down there.
Yeah, it's a tight fit with everything in there, but yeah, everything fits. So
this truck was dropped off at Dirt King. Was it completely stock when you dropped it off?
Yeah, it had like a little lift on it, but other than that, it was pretty much completely stock, yeah. Me and Greg at Dirt King had done the front and rear glass on it prior to dropping it off.
Okay.
But other than that, yeah, it was completely stock when it got dropped off, and they did a bunch of parts for it. They prototyped all the rear stuff, so up until this point, they didn't have any rear kits for this truck, only the front. So they prototyped all that rear stuff, which we'll get to. But yeah, they did the install on everything and then built a custom bumper for it.
So this truck was sort of their test truck to get the rear all set up?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, this is the one that got all their first stages of production. It got all the prototype parts on it. So all that stuff's gonna start being released shortly now that everything's
So
done.
What was the stuff that they had to do? The bed cage? Was there anything
the
else?
bed cage, the spring under kit, the frame box kit. So the frame is boxed from the cab back. So they cut all the box templates for it, box the whole frame. That's all done in CAD. Everything they do is all CAD designed and cut. The spring under kit uses the front and rear hangers, so it's aftermarket hangers. They're long travel shackles as well.
And how long did the truck take from you dropping it off to picking it up?
I dropped it off in mid-December and picked it up the end of January, so about 6 weeks. So that's pretty quick considering
like
how much work
build,
they did, and you know, building parts as you go. I'd say that's pretty quick. Yeah, they did a great job and worked on start to finish, and no holdups, luckily. Yeah, so that just goes to show you guys, if you want to build a vehicle, you can drop it off 6 weeks later and go have some fun. And you had this thing. Would you take it out to the desert with us a day after you picked it up? Yeah, I picked it up on a Friday, and then we went out shock tuning with you guys with Eric's truck on Saturday. So
got some KCs?
Yeah, it's got the KC Pro 6 on the front.
Sweet.
Yeah, they're really bright. I love those. These are actually the ones off of Eric's truck on his Tundra.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when he went to all the Baja Design stuff, he hooked me up with this stuff. So thank you for that.
Yeah, there you go.
And then it's got the Dirt King bumper that they fabricated with their skid plate.
That's cool. Did they laser cut all this or plasma cut this?
Yeah, so all this stuff they build in-house. The skid plate, bumper, everything is all cut in-house.
Is this all stock behind her?
Yeah, so this is the stock frame rail where the stock bumper bolts up factory. So pretty much everything that they do, like I said, they design in CAD and build it to where it bolts onto the truck. So really a truck like this, the guy at home could do it in his driveway. You know, a majority of these parts are all bolt-on with minimal fabrication, so it makes it pretty easy. That's really cool, because like on our truck, we had to weld a plate on there to have bolts go through, but this is all utilizing factory stuff, so it just goes straight on. Yep. And then I also have the Poly Performance, their taco tabs in the front. So normally there's an alignment cam on the bottom here. The first time that I took it out to the desert, the alignment got out of whack within the first probably 10 miles. So this basically locks the alignment into place on the lower control arm. Okay, and then it has a high and upper arm so that it's fully adjustable.
Sweet. And then who is that? Dirt King who makes the steering?
Yeah,
right there too?
Yeah. Dirt King makes the steering extension as well, so it utilizes the factory inner and outer tie rods. That's going to be my next upgrade, is doing a Heim steering kit on it. So try and eliminate all the weak links.
So would it go all billet, or would you use a... Okay, sweet.
Yep, yeah, CarTech makes a billet sleeve for it, and then it uses a Heim on each end.
Okay, so they already have them for these trucks?
Yep.
Sweet.
Yep.
I really like this bumper. You don't see this look too often. It fills kind of that dead space.
Yeah, I kind of let them do whatever they wanted to do, and they absolutely killed it. You know, having the main tube right here so low, it really gives a good approach angle to the skid plate, so it doesn't look like a snow plow.
Yep.
And then having this here, and then the light bar kind of fills up the gap, so the bumper doesn't look like it's hanging so low.
Yep, that's good.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it. They did a really great job on it.
And then the glass, whose glass is on this truck?
It's got the Fiberworks 6-inch glass front and rear. And then it was all color matched by Loose Cannon Customs in El Cajon. They did all the paint work on it. It's also got the Dirt King, the double shear kit. So normally on the Toyotas, the upper control arm bolts into the coil bucket here, but there's no plate over here, so this makes basically the upper control arm double shear on both sides and gussets it.
Yep.
And then it has their bolt-in bypass hoop as well, so it bolts into the upper, and then you just weld it onto the frame, and it locates their spec bypass. So
and do you
makes
know,
that side pretty simple as well.
Do you know offhand what the front end's pulling?
15 inches in the front. The tires are 35, 12, 50, 17 Toyo Open Country RTs. And the wheels are Ultra X103s beadlocks.
And I like the black ring too. That's really
I had those powder coated by ECP as well.
Cool. And the Toyos always look good. I'm a big fan of the Toyos.
I love Toyos. You can't go wrong with Toyo. They make a great tire.
Sweet. And so should we go straight into the interior?
Yeah, there's not really much on the inside. The inside's pretty much all stock for now. I have a set of PRP seats adapted to the factory sliders with the Solo Motorsports seat brackets. So they still slide forwards and backwards, so that makes it nice.
So do you have plans on keeping it kind of how it is? Or?
I'm going to cage it. I want to do, a cage retaining as much as the interior as possible. I'd like to, obviously I'm going to lose the plastics on the A and B pillar, but I'd like to keep the factory headliner, carpet, dash, AC, all that stuff to keep it as daily driver and user friendly as possible. I still put the kids in the back seat, so I have to keep the back seats because one of them's in a car seat. So
are you still daily driving the truck how it is right now?
Yeah, this is my only vehicle. I drive it every day. It's been really reliable. It's comfortable to drive on the street, but something you can still take to the desert, so it's kind of the nice in between. Whereas the Ranger wasn't the most practical to drive on the street.
Yeah.
I mean, I daily drove it still. It was my only vehicle at the time, but it didn't have heater, AC, defrost, anything like that. So this kind of has more of the creature comforts where I can drive it around and still have fun on the weekends.
And did that truck have a spool in it? I don't remember.
Yeah, that one had a spool. This one has an electronic locker, which is nice too. I can turn it on when I get in the dirt, and once again, kind of the best of both worlds.
Yep, exactly. And so moving on to the back, one thing that always surprises me is how short these beds are.
Yeah,
they're really tight.
This is the 5-foot bed, so by the time you put your bed cage in there, your spare tire, your cooler, you don't really have much room for anything else. And it's obviously a crew cab, so there's no room behind the seats, so space can get pretty limited.
And from the last time we saw this thing, Dallas went through on Line X.
Yeah, I had Dallas at Line X San Diego. He did a phenomenal job. He did the inside of the bed, the top of the bed rail here just to prevent scratches. And then I had him do inside the fiberglass in the rear. And he did a full rotisserie on the bed. So underneath, inside the bed and underneath is done as well.
So he pulled the bed completely off the truck?
Yeah, he pulled the bed completely off, flipped it around, sprayed everything underneath. Just for maximum protection. And these Toyotas have a composite bed on them, so they're fiberglass.
Yep, I remember.
So the Line X definitely really helps strengthen that up. And then I did the Total Chaos, the bed stiffeners as well, just to kind of reinforce it a little bit more.
Yeah, those are nice, and you have points to put straps on.
You can. I use these to strap down the cooler. You can mount a whip. There's multiple strap locations here, so that makes it nice. And then you still have the factory straps here as well.
Yeah, and one thing Nick mentioned is putting Line X on the inside of the bed sides to strengthen things up. That's kind of big because fiberglass, if you're going through like a whoop section or something, it's just going to be moving all over the place.
Hey, when you went by, I heard a lot of rattling, like the suspension washers.
Oh yeah, it's the shocks. The shocks on this are really noisy.
Oh, bypass.
Yeah, it was just like ching, 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 ching.
Yep.
You probably don't hear it when you're going Mach 2 through, through Baja.
Yeah. Yep, kind of blends in.
Yeah.
We were talking about bed sides.
Yeah,
so the bed sides with the Line X in there, fiberglass, if you're going through the whoops or something, it's going to be wiggling all over the place and making a bunch of noise. So the Line X just helps strengthen that up, like he was saying, and keep everything together and tight. And so going to the bed cage, I think I mentioned this in the last video, but this press brake and these bends are so nice. I don't think many people do that.
Yeah, no, it's kind of the Dirt King design. They're all their bolt-in bed cages have a really similar design to them. Once again, makes installation super easy. It bolts into the factory bed bolt locations. So once again, you could really do the install at your house in the driveway.
Yeah, probably the hardest part would be cutting the holes for the shocks. That would be the hardest part.
Yeah, and then yeah, it just has holes through the bed for the bump stops as well. Same thing in the rear. It's got a 2.0 bump stop. Then it's got a 3.0 by 16 spec bypass as well.
Where are the bump stops at?
Right here. On the
I couldn't even see it. Yeah,
outside of the frame striking the axle.
Yeah, that's clean. You can you wouldn't even be able to tell.
Yeah.
And these trucks, it comes with like a power outlet, right?
Yeah, it's got a 110 power outlet that you can plug anything into, and you can run like a stove or whatever you want.
Everybody with these new trucks are so spoiled with all these accessories.
I know. It's like this isn't new by any means. It's a 07, but going from like the Ranger that literally had nothing. It's like a real luxury truck to me. I mean, I know it's not, but
yeah,
it definitely has everything that I need.
You're cheating now. And so we got a full-size spare and everything back here as well.
Yeah, full-size spare, and then the Dirt King 3-way tie down to hold it down.
Sweet. And then you got the matching amber dust lights.
Yep, KC flexes on the rear as well, and then got the Missoula rear bumper.
Did you get that painted since last time?
Powder coated. ECP powder coated it as well. Yeah.
And then you got these made too, right?
Yeah, yep. These come with the Missoula bumper, so they make it where you can run the center section. Some of the fiberglass, it follows the body line all the way around so that you can just run the center section. The Fiberworks glass has an opening so that you can run the factory bumper. So Missoula includes these plates here to bolt in and just kind of fill that area.
What springs do we have on this truck?
This is the Deaver H70 HD pack.
Okay.
So it's a spring under conversion on here, and then it has the Dirt King front and rear hanger all fabricated, and then it uses their long travel shackle. And on these Toyotas, since the hanger's so long, they built a nice brace up here. Also, there's a 2-inch tube that goes from frame rail to frame rail and then ties in the bottom of the hanger, just to kind of triangulate everything and keep it from flexing.
Yeah, these mounts are insane looking at these.
Yeah, they're really big.
Yeah, all the CAD design and getting stuff built that way is kind of crazy.
Yeah, and once again, even on the hangers, everything's bolted into factory locations. This one they notched the frame on for maximum bump travel. It's got 19 inches of travel in the rear, which it's a real 19 inches. A lot of the companies that do spring under kits, they say 18 to 20 inches of travel, but realistically, when you cycle them, it's 16 to 17.
And there's definitely something to say about trucks that are spring under too. Like the performance compared to spring over, like it's a lot. Just jumping in my brother's truck and feeling that compared to his previous truck was like mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's a big difference. Doing spring under, you can get a really heavy arc on the leaf pack without getting a lot of ride height, so that you can get a decent number of travel out of it. It makes it really nice.
And so with this rear end, you said there's an electronic locker in it?
Yeah, so there's a button inside, and it's a factory Toyota rear end. You just hit it and it locks it, and it pretty much acts like a spool.
So did you re-gear the truck at all? Or
Not yet. No, I don't want to put too much money into this rear end. I'm going to buy a fabricated rear end.
Okay.
So I don't want to dump a ton of money into this rear end and just be kind of going backwards with it. So.
Yep, if you're just going to replace it. Anyways, it's a smart choice.
Yeah.
Do you have in mind what you want to go to?
I'll probably do the Giant Motorsports fabricated housing. I had that on my Explorer, and I had great luck with it. They make an option that has Willwood brakes, 35 spline axles, which will be plenty for this truck. So I don't want to spend the money twice, so I'd rather just save up and buy the rear end than put the money into this one and just get rid of it.
Yep, that's smart. All right, trivial question. Out of all the trucks you've owned, which brand is your favorite? Like Toyota, Ford?
Well, I mean, they all have their ups and downs. Ford, you can't go wrong with the I-beam suspension. Toyota, you can't go wrong with the reliability of it. I mean, I'm a sucker for 90s Fords. I mean, as much as I love newer trucks, I don't think you can beat, an Explorer or a Ranger. So, I mean, I guess it all depends on what kind of mood I'm in that month.
Yeah, you guys heard it here first. 90s Fords, I like this guy. That's exactly how we are with the OVS trucks. So that's going to wrap up this walk around video on this truck. I know you guys like to see some footage in the dirt, but I don't have any footage of this truck yet, but Nick and I will definitely go out there and get some.
Yeah, we got to get at least a couple more trips in this season before it gets too hot.
Oh, we will. Right on. So thank you for bringing out the truck.
No problem. Thank you.
If you guys liked it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and see you in the next one.